Jake, we've done this pod for a minute, right? And like, I don't know about you, but like, I think I have some amazing hair, facial hair, the best that I've ever seen. Am I right? I'm right though. You're laughing, Jake, but like, I'm right? But am I right, Jake? Look at me real quick. I'm right when I say that I have the best. Like, we've had like Austin McNeil. I beat out his mustache. Adam Church does not have a mustache. Elizabeth McCorvey, I would hope. I don't think she has a mustache. She might. I don't know. But, yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, hello. Who are you?
I'm Fred.
Jake, I did not know we were inviting Freds in this house. Okay. From what I said before, that's some bullshit. I lied. That is better than me. We're going to start the podcast now. Fred, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
Right, let's
Locked
get
in.
into
Ready.
it.
Ready.
Walking down the tracks, just pointing out the facts, and I was singing along to a song that took me back to the place I used to go, running free just like a child. It told me I didn't know when I...
Yes. Okay, so I get nervous before pods, so sometimes I don't know about
Shake
you.
it off.
Yeah.
Shake it off.
Out of curiosity, do you have like a shake it off type thing with music, or just like when you go on stage?
Not really. Like, you can tell I'm nervous if I start to like, I get these like deep like belly coughs where like I'll just cough so deep I can feel it like all the way into my stomach, and it's like you're almost about to gag. You're like, oh God.
No, is that
But
before
that's
a
if I'm
performance?
really nervous, you know, like
Before a performance.
yeah. I'll just, you know, like when you cough really, really hard once or twice, you know, right after
It is
hitting the
close to
bong or something.
gagging,
Yeah. But anyways, if I'm doing that, you know, I might be a little nervous, but I don't get like super nervous a lot anymore. I mean,
Good, man. Which I want to talk about, because one thing I'm impressed about you is that you started music in the adulthood. But before we get into that, I want to make sure I give a little intro. I'm with an incredible self-taught singer-songwriter, excellent musician, free-flowing hair, big smiling teddy bear. I don't know why I added that. I thought
that's
that'd be
perfect,
nice.
dude.
The lead singer of the band Late Nigh Special, we got Fred Lee Ivy, which is like perfectly said. How does it roll off your tongue? Are you like Fred Lee Ivy, or
That's it. That's how
I was about to
it.
say.
Yeah.
Right when I read that off and I saw you say it on your Instagram a couple times, I was like, yeah, he's kind of built to have an artist name like that. And I'm
Just
like,
roll with it. Yeah, right.
I like it. I like it very much, dude. And I want to thank you for coming on the pod near the holidays, because we have a little bit of we have our cocoa.
The decor, a hot cup.
Hot
Cup of Cocoa Joe.
That's right. I'm just very happy you're here, because I feel like during the holidays, it gets busy for everybody. It gets busy for me. Jake goes to California, so Jake can't do podcasts for me. But I was going to ask, like, straight up, when it comes to, like, having... Oh, when you were younger, you were the oldest of 5, right?
Yes.
I'm curious, like, in the household you were in during, like, the Christmas time, holidays, just tell me about it. Like, was there a certain kid or, like, sibling that did certain things, like, meaning, like, that was the present rapper, that right there was the cook, over there was this, like, how was that set up when you were younger during the holidays?
Like when we were younger, I guess me being the oldest, like I kind of was the first one to do any like cooking or anything like that. But it was usually pretty like communal. Like we would all do things together, you know, like whether it be decorate the Christmas tree. Like my mom was super good about having like each year she would get us each an ornament. And so like we each had a box of ornaments over the years. Everybody would get together on that day and like do the tree together. But as we all grew older, like we all could kind of like cook. We definitely all had to clean, because being a family of 5, things were just messy all the time. So,
man, was it a big house, small house? Out of curiosity,
this is like pretty average house. It was probably about 1,600 square feet.
All right.
And it was, I guess, 4 bedrooms. It did have a basement, but for most of my life, the basement was pretty unfinished.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, like that's not the place that you kind of got into music. As I said, kind of at the beginning, you said you got into it when you were an adult, 21, which I actually got into. I was going to use this podcast as like an advice column too, because I actually started when I first got to Charlotte, which was when I was 22.
Okay.
So I am in a very similar boat. But I was going to ask, like, when it came to, you have like Fred Lee IV, but I'm curious because you have a style, you have like a very cool like persona about you. Was there like a younger nickname or something that was caught on pretty early for you, even if music wasn't fully involved? I know mine. My name is Tucker. Guess what that rhymes with?
Yeah.
Anyway, went down that route.
Dude, when the only thing I can ever remember is when I was in middle school, I got all these like probably like 2 or 3 hats made at Lids. You remember Lids in the mall? Like you could get like something, personalized on a hat, and I got the word "sexy man" or 2 words, if you will, on this hat because when we were in middle school, like Austin Powers was like this huge thing because I'm 35, and so like right at that time. Austin Powers was this huge thing, and I would always do the fat bastard impression. Yeah. And so I got this nickname, Sexy Man Fred. And
yes.
It was just kind of funny. So anyways, that was the only nickname I really think I had up through music. But
all right.
Up until music.
Did you have this like when you were a hairdresser, when you had these other jobs before music? Like, was that kind of the name that followed you at all?
No, thank God. I mean,
see, mine followed me. That's the problem. Mine followed me.
Hey,
they would be like, "Yo, like, here was the nickname." Jake, you ready? This was my nickname. Swear. They were like, "Mother Tucker, what's up?" So you laugh, but like that fault, like some people we both know, Jake said that on the Constant. Like, I was like, "Wow, it caught up." Like, why did it catch up to other people? I know that's probably an obvious nickname for my name, but
that's another thing. I guess you don't get to choose your nickname
no,
either. You know, like.
I know. I just like...
We actually, in the band, Late Night Special, when we have a new person join or just in the past...
Yeah, y'all have what, 8 members? 10 members?
It can be anywhere
I was
from...
about to say.
It's normally 4 to 6, you know, but we've built out bigger bands. But what
built
we'll
like
do
of
is,
good nature, just a little bit.
Kind of, yeah, similar. And me and Cam's been doing it for longer than me, for sure, and is such a pro. But, yeah, we let the band members... If you can come up with a better nickname than what we give you on stage, because we'll do it. We'll give you a nickname on stage, just random, almost like improvisation, you know.
How about so tell me about the band members a little bit. Who's the guy with a lot of hair?
That's got to be Tyus.
Okay, yes, Tyus. What is his nickname?
Tyus Ragin' Reagan Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Dude, that's just what I came up with on stage one night, and I was like, it's pretty easy. It rolls off the tongue.
What's Reagan, though? Is that his last name?
So Reagan Johnson is his last name. Okay. I was just kind of added that in there one night, and I told him, I was like, if you really don't like your nickname, you got to come up with a better one.
Yes.
And I'll replace it. And I know we had this guy join last year on drums. His name is Ethan Russell. And we came up with Ethan Machine Gun Russell, and he did not like that.
Why, though? That's not a bad name. Or does he just not like MGK?
I think he doesn't like him. And he kind of looks like him. So it was just like one of those things where he was like, nah, you got to come up with something better than that. And then Tyus said something about the Love Muscle Russell. Oh. And I said that on stage, and he's like, bro, that's even worse. And I was like,
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Well, I don't know. That could be thought of in a certain way, so I kind of get that.
But it's hard to come up with your own nickname, too. I mean, that's probably hard.
Yeah. That's why I'm happy that I have a podcast now, because I feel like, I don't know, not that Tukr'D Out is a nickname, but like, yo, Tukr'D Out. It's like, yeah, that's enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into before we talk music, because I love talking music, but I also like, as you saw by my questions, I like just making sure that just like random questions are asked. I really like turning the conversation into a personable side, because ultimately we love the music, but we're all people. So I want to start off somewhere interesting, and ultimately that is that, and I'm just going to take a guess on this, but early on you had a style. Am I wrong? Or did that catch on with music? Because you got the big glasses. Well, here's a photo of your big glasses. Photos are just going to... So you got the big glasses. We got the V, you know, just the button up is right here. Yep. And like it's stylish. And I'm curious. You got the boots. You got the large boots. My goodness, they got to be heavy to walk in. I'm curious if that came specifically from something, or was that developed more in the adulthood?
I would say I always had my own style, especially like, post high school. Like just kind of, there was a time where we would go out and club like on the weekends, and I remember like just going out and getting some like the most extravagant shirts. My friends were like, oh, we would never wear that. Or like my friend would get a gifted shirt. I remember my one friend Wilson like gave me one of the coolest shirts. It's like a Lucky Brand shirt, but it's like a green paisley corduroy shirt. He's like, I can't pull this off, and I know you can. And I'm just like, dude, this is such a cool shirt. You could pull it off. He's like, no, I can't. You wear it. But I always had like some sense of a style. But I would say from these last probably 6 to 7 years, most of my style has came from my now wife, Casey Carson. She like...
We had a photo of Casey?
Yes. Pull her up.
To the wife.
She is not only a dime, but she's like she's as much of a creative as I am. Like she's
not a musician,
an artist.
Is she? Oh, she's an artist?
She can play bass and she has a great singing voice. However, she doesn't do it in any professional manner. But she has just a great taste, and she was a hairstylist as well. She's done hair for over 15 years, maybe even longer than that. But
did y'all meet each other through that or no?
No, we met at a show at the Rabbit Hole.
Which is now, as you said in a post recently, it's not that anymore. What is it now? Jack something?
Jack's Live.
Why? Rabbit Hole sounds so much better. No offense.
I don't know.
If I hosted an event there or something.
The place is, it's great. And it's,
yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
It's here in Charlotte, I think. Yeah? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Plaza Midwood.
Getting better at knowing some of these venues. My
Totally.
favorites. Because you've performed Evening Muse, and like, yeah, that's probably that's up there. That and Snug. I love Snug Harbor. That place is just grudgy. Like you walk in, you're like, whoa. Like, okay.
It's got
the crazies come here.
It has a vibe, yeah.
The crazies come here. The creatives come here.
That's right.
I think I should say that differently. The creatives come here. I was curious. You had a food truck at one point. Yeah. Still or no?
No, I sold it probably in like 2014, 15. Got rid of the food truck and that side of the business and kind of went full-time music then.
Nice. I'm curious, though, when it comes to what you learned by operating a food truck, was there any, like, crossover lessons that music also, like, that prepared you for being in the music world? I feel like everything intertwines in ways, so I'm curious if there's something in that.
Yeah, just business. I remember when I started the food truck, I started as a hot dog cart because I had worked for a guy who did that. And at first, just like any younger person, just kind of being like, oh, awesome, I can set this hot dog cart up and make $150 today. That's great for a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. But then when you start to get into the business and understanding marketing and being at the right places and, how to replicate a menu that you can, triple the output time or whatever, or ticket time. Like when you start to get into the business aspect of it, it's not just something as simple as making a quick buck. And I would say music's the same way. It's like music's so fun and creative and it's like nothing else, I guess, if you will. But it's like if you want to be able to do it for a living, which that's a lot of people's dream or goal when they get into music is, I want to do this for a living. It's like you have to kind of figure out a way to turn it into a business. The business side really needs to be taken care of so that other side, the magical side, the stuff that tugs on your soul strings, like that stuff stays sacred whenever the business side is taken care of. And so that's something I kind of learned through the food truck was like, get your shit together, your taxes, your finances, get everything in line on that side so that it's so much easier when you go to work, when you get to cook, when you get to host and do events with food. Yeah. That's what I always thought. And I felt the same way with the band. Like the more organized it is, just the better it feels when you kind of, like just like on race day, when you step into the car, like after all the practice and all the testing and the organization's done, you feel a lot more confident stepping into that car to go race rather than like just showing up with no preparation. And
does that make for an easier fail sometimes if something does go wrong? I feel like that's something, just as a musician myself, that's not as... I'm still learning my own organization of certain things. And I feel like obviously music is very vulnerable in a lot of ways. Personally, it is for me. I'm curious, just like if something does go astray, is it easier to handle when those sides are taken care of? Or like what have you noticed has happened if a failure has happened? Like how have you reacted and stayed maybe like okay with it?
Sometimes you don't, I guess. I mean, being a human, sometimes it's just like things will just kind of spiral a little bit more than you would want them to. But I would say, like, again, being organized and kind of put together makes for an easier fall when it does happen.
Yeah.
And it helps kind of being planned out and organized with your scheduling and your approach and your theme and your the plot of your brand. Like that kind of is heading you in the right direction. So when things do kind of fall short or you have a fail, if you will, it's easy to kind of just pivot off those because like you're heading in a direction. And sometimes I guess there's things like the hubris of life where you feel so confidently pulled into that direction. You've planned everything, all your organization towards that dream, that goal, but something kind of smacks you in the face and lends you to be like, no, actually you needed to go this way. And then from being like shut down to like into a new pathway that it was actually more fulfilling than the last.
What would be an example that has happened? I mean, as a musician, you've probably failed, but yeah, is there something you've been okay with or like a directional shift that ultimately was probably for the best?
I mean, I would say the first example I experienced in my music career would have been like I've just always had this dream of building out a band. Once I started a band, I wanted to build out a consistent band that played together for, a long, long time, and that just kept crashing and burning. Really? But I kept building my entire plan around that. Well, out of the my solo career was a birth of that problem, like losing players, but wanting to do music full time, being asked to do music as a solo artist and just accepting it, even though I hadn't done it before, like put me into a new phase in this journey, and I continued to build out bands and they would be consistent for a while and then they would not. And that has always been a battle, but that battle strengthened me as a player with any kind of musician that steps on stage. As well as, like I said, having to pivot and learn how to do it as a solo artist.
Respect.
You go from kind of like doing original music is what we started out doing, was a lot of originals at open mics that carried into venues. When I became a solo artist, I started doing a lot more cover gigs.
Really?
And a lot more 3-hour gigs and doing...
I don't know if I can do those. Whew.
They're tough, but what happens is over an extended amount of time. I mean, from 2016 to 2020, I did anywhere from, like, let's say 2016, it was like 150 a year. Once we were up to 2020, I was doing, close to 300 something gigs a year, and I had gotten so good at my instrument. I had gotten so good with my voice. I was doing, sometimes on Saturdays, I would do these tours where I'd go to Myrtle Beach, sleep in a camper van, and I would play 7 days straight. And on Saturdays, I could do 2 shows, and on Fridays, I could do 2 shows. Sometimes I could do 3. So, like, imagine one day doing 9 hours, well, a little less, let's just say 7.5 to 8 hours of music playing.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of stamina I built for my voice and my fingers was incredible. So, like, when I would go perform with a band for an hour and a half, like, I just felt an hour and a half was nothing compared to doing, 2 6, or 2 3-hour gigs.
Does that not impact, like, the creative side? Like, there's no... It does, in ways?
100%.
I was about to say, that's kind of a fear of mine, I'll be honest.
That statement, in short, exactly what you said. I mean, does that not impact the creative side? It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Because that side of it was just... The reason I was doing so many gigs is because I was making so much money. And that money was funneling to be used towards being more creative. But somehow I had taken up so much of my time that it was hard to be creative, so... I've consistently released music over the years, but the one thing I don't, I guess, pride myself on in my career as a musician for the last 10 years is not releasing enough music. Like I think I've released maybe close to 30 songs, and I've probably written close to 400, 500 songs. You know, so just should have released way more. But that's like, it's never too late. You know, I'm doing it now. So
No, it's not.
Hey guys, want to give a quick shout out to Sonorous Wave for sponsoring the Tukr'D podcast Season 2. They ensure the best of service for the high quality sound in all realms of music involvement. So please check them out.
So eventually, I'm going to say this 1,000 times over because it's going to happen. I'm going to get sponsored by these people because I love Yes Theory. They're on my arm. Spark is this game where I don't even know what questions it will be. And we answer a couple. I'm going to hand you a few cards. We maybe do 2 each. You choose whatever question you want. Right. And we just talk about them. Whatever 2 questions in there. We'll maybe do 2 questions each. And we'll just talk about them.
I'm just going to pick 2 at random.
Let's do it.
All right.
You start, man.
So I'm asking you this question?
Yeah, we can kind of both weigh in, but you'll ask me first, I'll answer, then but yeah.
Okay. What was one of the best days of your life? Can you describe it in detail?
Oh, yeah. I did this recently. There was a question asked to me at a holiday get-together, and I was like, it was at Tukr'D Out. I could explain it in a heartbeat. It was my 22nd or 19th birthday. It had to be either or. I can't. But it was my birthday, and it was because my birthday is at that time. It's still very special to me, but like a lot of my friends were in town. It was on a Saturday, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do some." It's a Saturday. I'm gonna do some stuff on a Saturday. So I did a triathlon in the morning, which was crazy. I don't know why I decided to do a triathlon in the morning.
Legendary.
Yeah, thank you. Then NC State. I'm a Giant State fan. UNC fans, don't watch this. Giant NC State fan. They played Clemson that day at Carter Finley Stadium, and Clemson was ranked. We ended up beating them in overtime in football. And then the nightcap was, because my birthday falls near Halloween, was going to a place called Panic Point. Have you heard of Panic Point? Mm-hmm. Panic Point is like similar to Scarowinds, but I think it doesn't have like roller coasters, but just the haunted houses are a lot better. They're a lot longer, and I love those places. Like those places, I grew up watching Ellen and all these haunted house or videos, and it was that in one day. I never took a nap. Like it was nonstop for my entire birthday. I'll never forget it. It was so action packed. It was so fun.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
You got one? You got a big day? 6 out? I'll get one out the way. We love kids. Like a kid's birth is huge.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would have to say, I mean, both my kids' births were like equally as important, I would say, but my son's birth, which made me a father first, was so huge, and that was probably the happiest day of my life ever, because my dad, as you know, I'm Fred Lee the fourth. My son is the fifth.
Yep.
We call him V, and my dad was the third. My dad passed away like 2 months before my son was born, and like
dude.
we didn't know what my son was going to be. Like we waited to find out the sex. And so the day he was born and I saw that it was a boy and I got to pass him the name on to him was like probably the proudest day of my life. Man. And my wife, like just like a champ, made it through
As
the
they
delivery.
Do, as the women do.
Yeah. It was just like one of those days that you're just like super thankful, you know, for everything you have.
Yes. Yeah. Good answer. I'm gonna hit you with a question. Let's see what we got.
All right. Let's hear it.
Oh. What's a topic you're passionate about and could talk about for hours? You probably could with music. I'm curious, is there something that's just like kind of would surprise me that you can talk about for hours? I'll give you my answer straight up, and you probably would be like, what? And mine's airplanes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like the factual knowledge of airplanes or
like,
just the history
like
of
routes. Like I know I can talk all about the routes of like Boeing, like all the airlines that come into Charlotte and like Raleigh and London and why they come in, why this airplane goes there, why this
so interesting.
Why this it's so crazy. Like I could look up in the sky and be like, yeah, it's a 737 Southwest probably going to St. Louis, you know. Just the most random thing, but I love it.
That's cool.
What's yours? Everybody's got one. Jake I know has one. I don't know it though. Maybe volleyball. Oh, no, I know. Lakers history.
Sometimes anything, but like I think I mentioned this to you before. I'm super like obsessed with like sustainable gardening.
Yes.
Yeah, I
You
can talk
mentioned
about it
this.
forever. So
What do you? So we don't sadly have forever, but I'm curious. Just give me like a tip of the iceberg. Just like, what should I know from someone that doesn't do it yet? What should I know about it? Why do you like it?
So the biggest thing I would say is that the reason I like it the most is like, I'll give you the example of my footprint now is we live on like a quarter of an acre
Yeah.
in a corner of a cul-de-sac, and we have turned like everything but where our house sits into basically like edible garden beds, right?
That's amazing.
So that helps. It doesn't like feed us year round. You know, we're not like raising cows in the backyard,
Yeah.
but it's helped supplement like so much nutritious food that you can grow year round. Like we just put in beets, carrots, kale, garlic,
I love kale.
onions, like all these different things, like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, all this stuff that's going to grow through the winter. And then, I mean, you know, your standard summer crop. So like you can grow food year round, and we're doing it in such a small footprint. And
it's not probably that hard the way you're talking about it.
No. I mean, obviously, like anything, you need the know-how, but like the way the internet is available, or even like AI could probably help you make a great garden.
True.
You know. But anyways, I'm super obsessed with it. I think it's like partially a cure to the world's cancer that we've created, like not only the disease cancer, but the cancer that we're wreaking on the earth, which is like overexhausting resources. Like our food waste is so high, but at the same time, the food that we are even wasting is so low in nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the food you're spending your paycheck on is not really even that nutritious.
That's a good point.
I'm obsessed with the idea and the whole process. Regenerative
Heck yeah.
farming.
Respect. I will say, if you ever go to a grocery store, I learned this from a podcast, and I liked how they said it. They were like, just stay on the edges of the grocery store. I was like, what do you mean? Like, just stay on the edges. Yeah. You know, you'll see what I mean. And I started to like feel out how grocery stores are built. It's like, oh yeah, you actually want to stay on the edges. That's where the healthy stuff is. It's tough in the middle.
That's what they say.
And that they're designed to be that way. Like they're designed for you to access the middle easier than the edges, which I found interesting. Like that's why grocery stores are that way. Because it's like I didn't like how that sounded. Because like, dang, they really doing us like that? Like,
no, they are.
Like that's
They really are.
Yeah, but you know. It is what it is. I think there's so many positive things that are happening too.
Exactly.
Your turn. What we got? Hit me up.
Okay.
We good, Jake?
What would be the soundtrack to your life for this moment?
So would that be a song? Just one song?
I guess so.
I'll do two. I Hope You Dance is number one.
By Leanne Womack.
Yeah. Or like my
that
favorite
song's
version.
so badass.
Well, that song, I say that song because like it's a reminder that like I hope it's kind of like a reminder to myself of like I hope you take on the fruits of life.
Yeah.
It's like I hope you know how special you are. So there's that. The other one, just I'm gonna say this and laugh about it because it's true, but I'm gonna laugh. The song that comes to my head is a song called. Mom's gonna watch this and text me after this. Life Sucks, but here's why. So it's by a girl named Lee Kate, and it's one of my favorite like rock songs. It's like a hardcore, fast paced, like an old school Jonas Brothers Paramore song. And yes, the song is kind of like literally like, life sucks. But I don't know. It's also a song about not giving a crap, like just truly not giving a crap. And that's the reason I kind of said it, not because of the title, just because there's some parts in the song where it's like, you know, do this and do this. Who gives a crap? Who gives a crap? Like, and I think that's in a way healthy. And I was proud today because I stood up for my feelings today, and I kind of felt that in a way of just like, I don't care if you give a crap if I stand up for me, I'm gonna do it. So I don't know, but the title's not ideal for how I thought of that.
Right. The song though, the meaning of the song fits.
Yes, in the moment that it was the first song that popped in the head. So I'll go with that. How are you? What are some songs?
Dude, you mentioned the Paramore thing. Something that Is the song is it called
Misery
Middle?
Business.
Stuck in the Middle? Maybe is that
Oh,
the same as the song? I'm just a little bit stuck in the middle.
Oh, I don't know that. For a second, I thought you meant Still Into You, but that's probably no.
But anyways, it's a Paramore song that I've heard before, and I would say that's where I'm at,
Here it
just
is.
from a point of, I've had a great music career thus far, and I feel like I'm only getting started.
Yeah.
But my family life is so special and so important, and they do tug at each other. I feel there's a way to make them work coinciding together. But
Talking about your kids?
yeah, my kids, my wife,
Yeah.
traveling, being away from them is really tough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, playing music for a living is special, and like just seeing my kids be into it. But in that way, I'm stuck in the middle of like really, you can really lock in to what you do for work and get lost in it. And I'm working really hard to not make that decision, because I've really always valued, I had an incredible dad. I always valued being a great dad over being a great musician and a good dad. I'd rather be a good musician and a great dad. So, but I'd love to be great at both. It just takes a lot of, like I said, organization, time
It's also
management.
perception too, right? Like
100%.
ultimately, I mean, your wife, but also the kids might just be like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best." Like he's doing I love my dad so freaking much. Which
Meanwhile,
I forget
I'm
that.
like,
That's
dude, I
always-
suck, man. The worst dad.
I forget that though. Like that is always an option. Like I think Jake sometimes knows this. I'll ask him a lot, just like, "Hey, am I doing okay as a roommate?" I've asked him, and he's just like, "Yeah, dude. Hopefully, I still am. Who knows?" But sometimes like that's a perception. It's very easy. But the cat Schrodinger's cat, where like both things are true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I forget that's an option in life. That's an
Right,
option in almost
right.
anything in life. Like that's like someone like for me, I'm very hard on myself with my music.
Yeah.
But then I'll
The
put out a
Panthers are
song.
both good and bad.
Yeah. Hey, why you nod your head so hard, Jake? Come on now. Your Steelers are in the same boat. Come on. now.
Steelers fan. Let's
Oh,
go.
dude. And well, I want to get into this too. You also, I was doing research on you, and you think that one of your songs would be a great NFL intro song.
Yeah, I do. I do think somewhat. Like I don't know
Tell me
whether it
about
be
this.
NFL, college. I feel like
I
the song
thought
would be
NFL when I
very,
heard the song. Which song
very
is it?
hype for sport. It's a song called "It's My City."
So don't be shy, cause when you walk with me, well, you can be all mine, cause it's my city, it's my city. Look at all the lights, they're so damn pretty. It's my city, it's my city. Look at all you people, you're so damn.
And I wrote it probably 7 years ago, and we just happened to produce it last year while we were
so
on tour.
damn pretty.
Yeah. I just figured it'd be hype, and we'll see where it goes. Like putting music out right now is a wild thing.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's very unrewarding. Like I remember when we first got into making music,
It's
like
rewarding.
you would do an album release show, you would order like a group of CDs. And this was in 2014, 15.
Yeah.
You would have like it was just exciting. It was kind of like right before the single madness went crazy, but it was such a rewarding thing to release music and such a big celebration. And now I just feel like it's slightly pay to play, like everything else, payola,
yeah.
like
You
you want your song to really perform, you need to back it.
And I'm getting better at not. I think I was thinking about this recently. There's a lot of entertainment jobs where you have to be the best to do well, right? Like sports, you need to be the best to do well.
That's
Acting also, like acting, you need to be the best to do well. Music is interesting. You could be there's some artists here in Charlotte where I'm like, your songs are the best I've heard in such a long time. And the artist has like 1,000 followers.
Yeah, nobody knows.
And they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And that messes with me because I'm realizing like, okay, well, if that's music, because that is a lot, like it is kind of, I mean, you had I want you to tell the story. You had a great moment having your song on a very popular TV show, but it is interesting how that is in a way like random at times. Like music success is random at times. Now, if you're like a producer, I think it's a little easier because they have like, I think producers have a certain niche in a way, but like it is incredibly oversaturated. And I found myself getting angry at that, but also realizing that like I'm still incredibly happy for myself. Like if it's for like the way I think about it, I'm not trying to do music to get popular. I do it because like I love how that
music,
sounded.
right.
Oh my goodness, I love how that sounded.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, it's easy to get wrapped up in the numbers.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy. Oh, numbers.
It's also, I mean,
It can be fun at times.
I don't know. It's definitely like a double-edged sword because like in ways it is flooded and hard, but in other ways it's easier now to release and get music to the world than it ever has been.
You're not wrong.
So.
I will say, but I'd say the only other thing that annoys me, and I saw this on a podcast, I do kind of believe that they're putting certain artists on stage that don't have that get popular, but they don't have like the kind of like you being on stage for as many years as you did, like 300 shows a year. Like they don't have those reps to do like a tour, even if like some of their songs like pop off.
I've actually heard this at the we went to the Confluence Festival. Came here to Charlotte.
Confluence.
It's like a conference and showcase festival that Charlotte puts on. And
like influence conference, like Confluence.
Confluence is in like
Did I just make that up.
it's kind of just a lot of people who work in the industry. But one person told this story about how labels went through these two really weird periods as the industry really shifted in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
One being they signed artists because they had blown up online, and they took them out on tour, and the artists didn't have money, so they couldn't afford extra rehearsals with the band. So they took the band out for the first 4 shows, and it sucked so bad as a live performance that they had to cancel the tour because the artist was having mental health issues from being such a bad performer, and catching such slack,
Oh, yeah.
And so, or signing artists that were botted stream people, or like a third world country person making a fake artist and getting millions of streams, and then a record label saying, we want your next 5 albums, here's $1 million advance. And then that third world person who's working from like in the shadows, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
Gets
he's
$1
gone
million.
with $1 million, right? So they were telling these stories. So like, just really crazy things, man. Really crazy times.
It's very interesting.
But part of that was hearing the story of people being signed and put on tour because the demand's there, the popularity's there, and them not being able to provide the show.
It's there. It's there. It's there. The want of that to happen is there. I have hope. I always have hope. That's why I'm doing Tukr'D Out. I think that's another reason. I do also think that like ultimately true authenticity does win a lot, even though it's like under the radar sometimes. Like just having fun. That's why I think podcasts have gotten more popular because people want to see behind the curtains a lot more, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. They do that. I think like they do that with WWE a lot now, which I like love because I grew up on WWE, and now like they're doing all these pods about how like
WWF.
Oh yeah. But like all those like, but when you were younger, you thought that was real. You thought the Undertaker was dead as hell. Like you, and I think that's kind of badass now that he has his own pod and he talks about how like these things. And for the people that love the facade, it's like, well, yeah, but the facade's still there, but like, still like it's kind of cool to see that these people are people.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to talk about something that was super exciting because you had a song on the Pat McAfee Show.
We got Jonathan Taylor on the other side. Yeah. The Spotify's not working.
Probably got hacked.
It's literally just not working. I mean, it's just frozen up.
Don't leave me alone.
All right, this is the Pat McAfee Show. Wednesday, December 16th. On the other side, we got Jonathan Taylor joining us. You're listening to Don't Leave Me Lonely Late Night Special Band. We're back on the other side. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that came to be.
Well, dude, big shout out to my guy, Zach Malden, who hit me up about it. He, I guess, was just a religious listener of the show. I'd listened to the show over and over and over again. Like, I knew who Pat McAfee was, but, like, only because I'd seen him on a couple highlights. Like he was one of the greatest punters of all time in the NFL. Just his highlight reel really is second to none as far as punters go, and many players. But anyways, he's like, hey, you should submit to his show. They take original music submissions. So I just threw together 3 songs that had just released on this record, sent it, and like 2 weeks later I had multiple friends like sending me Snapchats of the show on YouTube, and they're on there, you know, being like, you know, this guy, you know, Pat's like, this guy, I don't know who this is, but this guy's got a hell of a voice, you know, like Late Night Special. And then one time their Spotify goes down and like they just start singing Don't Leave Me Lonely, the song. They're just singing it in the studio and they don't know the words. Yeah. So super cool moment. His fans, super religious supporters of him. So like they just blew the song up
and it did blow. I remember you said in the text, you were like this kind of blew up. No, it blew up. It's got like 1.5 million on Spotify, probably more on Apple Music, YouTube, all that and above. Probably equals to about 2-3 million in total.
Yeah, people like went after the song and
which is
loved
great.
It. There was a point on the show though. This is the crazy part, where they got copyright flagged for the song, and so because they didn't ask us for a release for the music, and I guess they were. You know, like we are an independent artist, but they were looking for artists who didn't have their music registered. Well, we have our music registered because, like I said, we run our music like a
meaning like it wasn't out.
Yeah, maybe so, or maybe just that
Stuff
it needed
like
to be
like
it needed to be royalty free, which I didn't even understand that. Well, anyways, after this happened, they got copyright flagged.
They did, like Pat McAfee.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yo, you got to send us a release, or we can't play your song on the show." I was like, "Totally." We sent him a 1.5 or 2 year release for the song. Anyways, when that happened, he got on the show and was like, "Oh, you can't play this song anymore. Late Night Special won't let us use it." So, dude, his fan base just goes nuts on our YouTube channel, like just commenting on the song, being like, "Oh no, this is your only good song. You guys suck. Like Pat McAfee brought you up. Man. How dare you not let Pat play the song?" And so we write him a letter. We're like, "Hey, here's the extension for the copyright release." Like, dude, it's not us. That was on the algorithm, whatever. Yeah. He's like, "Totally." I was like, "Dude, you got to call your dogs off, bro." And so he gets on the show one more time. And it was just kind of nice because it had its flair. Then when he was singing, it had its flair again. And then when this happened and like everybody started hating on it, he went back on there again and was like, double down on the love for Late Night Special.
Oh,
you know,
my
like,
gosh.
And so it just helped the song kind of, at least get some recognition. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's that kind of cool. Jake, moment. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy. I find that interesting for a couple reasons. One reason, and this is something that I think is interesting to me about just fandom, is that one word said by a popular figure will ignite a stampede.
It'll set the stock market on fire.
Oh
man.
my gosh!
Much less like make a song viral.
Oh my gosh! That's so interesting to me. And I mean, I'm a giant sports fan, same as Jake, and you are too, right or no?
Yeah, I love sports. I grew up playing sports, and you know, like I said, once I had realized Pat was repping the song, I became a fan too. And I mean, I listen to a little sports talk radio or like occasional.
I jump on First Take every morning. Yep. No one knows that, but yep. Reynolds got me into that.
Yeah. Now that I got the kids, I can't. They don't want to watch any of that shit.
I get it. Yeah. Coco Melon, you know. Yeah. That was funny, ain't it, Jake? Yeah, that was a good one. I wanted to ask, obviously, about the amazing elephant in the room that is Late Night Special. You have a fantastic band. Disco's my favorite song.
Okay.
I started just being like disco, like when I was working just today, and like it started becoming an earworm, and I was like, that doesn't happen like often to me because I listen to a lot of music, and I'm a big I'm like I like to consider myself a connoisseur of just like figuring out ways of writing. I love lyrics, but also just, you know, if a certain note hits correct, like anybody, but I really dig deep. And if I ever have an earworm, I think it's impressive to have an earworm for me at least. I don't get them often because I'm always going to the next song.
Right.
So disco made its way into my ear,
That's sick.
which is very nice. And that I believe is a part of the Don't Tell Me. Halfway to Somewhere, right? That's the album. Yeah, that's part of that. Love the cover art of that one, but that's the house, right? Like with I like that. Here's
that was done by a local guy from here named
like
Chris
that
Chris
cover art.
Jones. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
He's a killer graphic designer and all around guy.
Nice, man.
Pretty
So-
decent golfer.
When, dude, I was about to talk about golfing, but we'll go on the music since we're getting a little late with the pod. But I was just gonna ask when it comes to first of all these two albums. Tell me kind of a brief story on just why name it Halfway to Somewhere? Like, what is the idea behind that, just in general?
So,
Because I like it.
I remember releasing that group of songs. Half of them were songs that I had started to write as a solo artist, really, because like my band, some core members of my band had left, and I was just kind of like struggling with should I call this
Late Night Special?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like, should I call this Late Night Special still, or should I start a new band? People were like, just be Friendly IV. I'm like, yeah, but I'm Dr. Late Night, motherfuckers. Like, I'm Late Night Special. Come on,
That's right.
But anyways,
That's right.
we just kind of gearing in that direction, and the other half of the songs,
Dr. Late Night?
yeah, that's
You didn't mention that nickname.
the nickname I give
a
myself.
minute.
Nobody calls me that, so let's not
I'll call
use
you
it,
that.
But yeah.
All right, Dr. Late Night, keep going.
Either way, half the songs are from those songs that I kind of had started to do on my own, and then the other half were songs that we had done with the band over the years.
Nice.
And I just thought of it as a moment, like as I was bringing that all together, I think in 2019, and then released it in 2020 or 21. As that was all happening, I had just got on this really big tour. I had been grinding out a lot of shows, and I was realizing that, wow, you can do something that you love for your job
Yeah.
and conquer that, right, and make that goal. And then that goal become the demon or the monkey on your back
Yeah.
of like, wow, you can get burnt out on something that you actually love deeper than anything. Because at this point, it's before I had kids, before I was like truly in love with my wife and knew I was going to marry her. Like, I was in love with music, like in love with music. It was my baby. It was my girlfriend. It was my life. It was my passion. So, but you do it so much for work, you start to see like the dark side of it, the parts that steal your soul, just like anything you do too much, like everything in moderation. So anyways, I was just halfway to a point where I was trying to figure out, like, I want to do music for forever. That was something I promised myself when I took the turn to do it professionally. And I was like, how do I do it sustainably?
Yeah.
And I knew I was like halfway to somewhere.
That's awesome.
Looking back now,
It's
I was
true.
halfway to this point right here. And there's a halfway point to this moment in time
Yes.
everywhere. And if you take the time to think back where that halfway point is, or where that turning point is, even doesn't have to be halfway, it just is such a crazy thing. And I think at that time I was hoarding songs like Don't Leave Me Lonely and Disco. I didn't think they were me. I thought they were pop songs. I'd wrote them with a producer with like just playing guitar and then him producing drums, and I was like, this is so unauthentic. Like, and I was hoarding music like that. I hadn't released music in 5 years. I had just relentlessly wrote so many songs and was just hoarding them. And I was just like, man, we're halfway there, and had to get it going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Respect to that. And one thing I appreciate about what you do with Late Night Special is obviously you had a music festival that you headlined, and it didn't happen this year. Am I correct with that? Or is it happening?
Yeah, Shakedown Music Festival. Yeah, we did that.
Respect to you, by the way, for that.
Yeah, we did that for like 6-7 years. We would do it biannually, occasionally.
Yeah.
It was just like a homegrown music festival. That's kind of how I built
saw
the
videos.
brand.
It's awesome. One thing I love about you guys, and you started that, right? Like, I mean, just like that was your idea, just kind of come together.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I appreciate, because I'm curious if you have the same mindset I do with Tukr'D Live. You obviously create a music festival where it just gives more of the artists or even friends that you know a chance to perform and show their craft. And I feel that way about Tukr'D Out Live. Like, I don't have to be the full-on one performer. I don't have to be the one headlining. I might be the one starting it, but I just want creation to be shown.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seems like you're the first person I've met that really started a music festival. So I don't know. I felt that might be like a connection we have with that. Just like I want, a lot of people to see great music.
I remember the reason we started it specifically for us was that we were a new band and it was hard to get shows anywhere and opportunities. And we figured, like, what if we created our own opportunity? And so we did that, and through doing that, we helped other local bands have that opportunity. And I remember probably the first 3 or 4 years we did it, like, we weren't the headliner. We were just like an early supporting act, so that because we were brand new, and I was just putting in the legwork and the finances from running the food truck. I was using that finance money to do the festival, and we were basically just breaking even, doing anywhere from like 800 to 1,200 people, biannually or once a year, depending. Like, we'd have these bad weather times.
Yeah. Where was it hosted?
We hosted it at a property in Concord for the first 4 years, and then the last 2 years we hosted at another property in Concord.
Nice.
And yeah, I haven't done it since the middle of COVID. We did one during COVID that was great, and then I was just kind of like, it just seemed like the whole industry had taken a turn for something different. When we started, we weren't getting insurance. It was so effortless to pull together 1,000 people. By the time we ended, it had gotten to the point where I was like, 2020.
COVID screwed a lot of
If you want things to go, your advertisements to work online, you need to pay for them. Your marketing really has to be dialed to fit the algorithm. So it was much harder for us to make sure we could like recoup what we put into the festival.
Yeah.
But I still want to bring it back and do it again, just because we have so much. There's so much history, as well as there's so much opportunity. I've worked with the festival for the last 5 years. That is a major festival that does 250,000 patrons every year. It's called Nightlight Skylantern Festival. We are like the headlining artists for that.
Heck yeah.
And we tour with them and do about 20 shows a year with those guys. And
respect.
Super cool company, super cool event. I've had the pleasure of like being like basically a part of their staff, as well as an artist, headlining artist at that for this company, and being able to just see, big scale marketing, being able to contribute like my past history in owning a festival to them owning a bigger festival. Like, we've just been able to come together on things that, just worked so great together, and it was all organic. And so I have so much more to bring to the table after working for this major festival for 5 years that I'm like, I think, the next time we send the Shakedown thing off in Charlotte, it's going to be great,
That's awesome, dude. And again, just thank you for putting in the energy for like local artists to have that opportunity. That's amazing. Yeah. I have 2 more things I want to do. First off, a big question I like to ask artists. Is there a comment from a fan or something said to you by someone that listens to your music that still like hits you hard to this day, that when you heard it was very powerful to you?
I tell people this one thing is like, it took me many years to develop the sense that like people always had said good things to me about my performance when I would go out and play live. It took me many years to believe that and like own that and feel confident, not cocky, but confident in how talented I am now through building that. And just through the years, the things that people would pull me aside and say after shows helped convince me of that, and just helped me take everything to the next level. In particular, one comment that stood out brought it back to like, again, the reason we do this is to make the impact, the ripple effect that with any visual artist, really just as a human, you have a ripple effect with every decision, every word spoken to another human. Like,
that's right.
And like, so in this ripple effect, like just leaving a ripple for people that it really connects with them. And I remember I opened for the Charlotte Symphony last year in Kannapolis at Veterans Park for about 6,000 people, and opened the show solo, did my thing. After the show, this lady came up and was just like saying a lot of nice things, like, you're really great, the music's great. And I was just like, thank you. Sometimes I feel like maybe I don't know how to take a compliment. Like, I like say thank you 10 times, I'm like, thank you. I am grateful. It's just kind of like, I'm glad you think I'm good, because I'm still wondering if I am.
Yeah.
Or you maybe feel like you had a bad performance. You're like, I'm glad you think it's good. But anyways, this lady, she like grabbed me and she's like, can I just have a hug? And like, she hugged me. And when she hugged me, she said, I just want you to know that, like, if no one else was paying attention tonight, you touched my soul in a way that I needed tonight. And it like helped me. And so if you can't take anything else away from tonight, just know that you touched one person's soul that needed it right then, right now. And I was just like, oh my God, like, it goes back to that thing of just like, if you could just help one other person than yourself every day, then you go through your life like truly transcending your ripple for the better, I think, and it was just like a cool moment of like, man, like,
That's fantastic.
she's totally right.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, so those are like the kind of things that stick with me.
That's really good, man. Just to piggyback off that, I don't know if I've told this story on Tukr'D. It's a quick story I can tell, but I recently had a moment kind of like that, but it was a little different. I pretty much I was told that I made someone that has a disorder, I believe, who's nonverbal dance from one of my songs. And like, just to like, as that one probably did freeze you and kind of stay in the moment and just made your heart just feel amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel you though. Like, just you don't. It's almost like, yeah, thank you. But then there's one or two where my mother was just like, just know that you made this nonverbal child that doesn't do well with communication like dance. Mm-hmm. It's like
it's like something we take for granted. We take those
really
things for granted, and
until you got to have something that hits you in your heartstrings. I mean, I grew up like I did ABA for a little bit, and like that also. And I have a cousin has autism and Down syndrome, and communicating with him isn't always easy. Mm-hmm. But the fact that like someone that yeah, agreed. The thing I wanted to end on. I'm a big fan of making sure, I call them honey roasts. I like to make sure that I tell the artist how much I appreciate them before they leave, just because I really, it's very important for me to just make sure I say that and just how I feel about the artist. Because one thing I liked about just, you hit me up, and I just was so appreciative of that. I would hope that artists are starting to see Tukr'D out just a little bit, and even if they don't, if I'm the one hitting them up, like they're just like, oh yeah, I have interest in doing something like that, and I just was so appreciative that you hit me up. I would hope that artists are like able to do that more if they have interest, because I think I provide a pretty good platform. And that just meant a lot, because I had heard of Late Nigh Special, and I actually had listened to your music before I even knew. I forget what song I recognized, but it just was like, dang, like, okay, like, I thought that was so cool. I thought I still think this. Like, when I saw your style for the first time, I was very just like, oh, damn, like, that's an artist. Like, that's not like someone playing music, like, that's an artist. I like talking to people that have an artistry. Like, I'm not a fan of just talking to just musicians and that's it. Like, I like talking to people that, they put on a show, but they can also come back a little bit and, have a personable conversation. Even if, that them putting on the show is them. Mm-hmm. Like, they have a style to them. And whenever I saw your videos, I was like, that's, first of all, that's a badass style. I don't see that every day. But I just like how he's running life. It just looks very authentically fun to do, and I just appreciate that. And then I think another thing that I just have to compliment you on is your hair. I know we said it at the beginning, but I saw your hair for the first time. I was like, dang, I don't have that Jason Momoa look. Dang it,
dude. I mean,
it looks good.
First, I am a third generation hairdresser. My dad was a second generation, so I've always had free haircuts. And then I married like one of the best hairstylists in Charlotte. I married, so I always have been lucky to have good haircuts. Dude. Secondly, dude, I hit you up because something that has been a huge lack of in this city is the publication for music. Outlets where people talk about it, promote it, write about it. Just more sources to put it on the map. And I don't know, I'm not like the OG of this city by any means, but I've been here for 10 years, built a career, made a career, sustained a career here for those 10 years and watched the city change a ton. And I just always try to step in and initiate some of that contact with, especially when I see something new. Yeah. And something, again, authentic, the word you mentioned, authentic things, because I don't know, I hope to be, like I said, I hope to use my platform of the people who are paying attention to me that will see you and they will reach out, and get on the show as well, because I just think that's how you kind of start the engine up, man, of
good point.
And things that will just get going by doing that. So that's why I reached out. Like I said, you're doing a great job.
So
and
much.
One of my good buddies you had on, Austin McNeil, freaking superstar artist. So
killer. He was similar. He was I hit him up, but he was just yeah, where is it?
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, great dude.
Austin is a great dude. Yeah. Thank you again for just coming on and
Thanks
talking
for having
with
me, man. It was great to be here for the
being in
holidays.
my house. Yes, the holiday show. We love that. We got the beautiful setup. Next pod probably won't look like this, but I tried to set it up all neat and pretty. But
Festive
thank you.
Colors.
Yes. And thank you for saying yes to the milk or the hot chocolate.
Yes, it was great.
Y'all, thank y'all for watching. See y'all next time.